And one more big issues I got yesterday, that is when I'm using the form data from the postman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not getting the detailed things to the server,
Oh,
because
we'll
nothing
see
is.
later on.
Uh,
Form data we'll see. Form data
ah,
and
then I
multi-branch
then I
file
came to
upload.
yes, then I came to know that is we have to start with the raw data, or the URL encoded first.
Exactly. So
Malter is there, I think. So
Malter,
I
Malter.
manage that one. Yes, Malter using I use that one. But these are a few things I faced yesterday. But it's
Okay.
okay. It's
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
So if you start learning first JavaScript, the normal things what I explained here. So after that we will go gradually, because first data manipulation is important. Then the file
Yes.
dealing with files, heavy files,
Right.
how we are going to upload heavy to heavy file, 1 GB file. So all that, so that is beyond the basics, right? So first we
Right.
should understand how the conceptually Node.js work, or any API how we can create, because most of the time 80% or 90% we are dealing with data when we are dealing with API, right? And next thing we are dealing is the files, means reading files, writing files, all file related, uploading file, downloading files, creating XLS, generating CSV as a download, as a CSV, as a XLS. So all are related to files. So it is not a big deal, because creating file you can find so many packages and you can deal with them. So but the main concept, what are the modules, that basic modules we are use whenever we are creating any projects, we should know first. Otherwise you don't understand why it is written, why it is working in this way, what is the meaning of this thing, we don't understand, right? So we are yesterday we were discussing about the error handling in MongoDB, right? So I have mentioned that there are three types of error we are dealing with right now. One is bad object ID. Whenever you are sending any bad object ID, you can see the error, which is called, the error name is cast error. Okay. Then field validation, of course, will be there when you are validating something from the Mongo's model. Validating means, we can say, required validation and type validation. Type validation might be a custom type or maybe a data type. Type validation is a custom type, means type validation is a type like string, number, all the stuff. And the custom validation means min length, max length. It should contain a special character like this, the first character should be a capital letter, first character should not be a number, like these are the custom validation. So for all these validation you can provide the message, error message, in Mongo's schema, as I explained earlier, right? But how we are dealing with those errors and sending it to the front end, that is what the main objective, our main objective. Then duplicate id, then there are some for example, make some field unique. Then what are the error name at that time, because it is not a validation error, you can say it is at that time you can, the error name is Mongo's error. So all the other errors except the cast id, the bad id, and the validation, other error is it is you other error is like name is Mongo error. So in this at that time, when you are getting the name Mongo error, so there are the in that case we have to deal with the ID, sorry, code, error code, right? So there are different error code in the Mongos for different type of like duplicate key, primary key, then the unique. So there are different type of error code available over there. You can deal with them. Okay, so we'll deal with them. So for that, first we have to create a middleware called error.js. So whenever any error occurs, so it will pass through this middleware, so that error message will be displayed automatically. We don't have to do anything else. So for that, we have to create first a middleware called error.js. So let me create that first, then I'll explain you. Let's go over here, go inside middleware. Where is middleware? There is no middleware. Okay, let's create a folder middleware. Middlewares. Okay, then we can say middleware, then error.js, we can copy it. I have already copied it. Create a file, error.js. Okay, so what I am doing over here, I am creating a construct, creating a method and exporting it from here, right? And method name is error handler, in which you can see request response parameter is there. Then as a middleware, it is mandatory that we have to pass next function over there, next function to go, because otherwise without next function the middleware will not go ahead. Then another is error, because it is a error handling, so error is the first parameter, is the error. Whatever the error you are passing from there, you can take it, get it here, right? And right now we are displaying, sending response from here, and we are not going out, going further process. We are not going doing any further process, so we are not using next over here. So I have created it. Then let's see what are the changes we have to do in server.js, because it is a middleware. Then you have to pass this middleware over there in server.js. So first you have to include it inside server.js. So you can see all the default module I have mentioned in at the top, and the custom module over here. So let me put this over here, middleware.error. I can do it let or const, whatever you want. Okay. Then another thing I want to explain, that the error is, you are going to catch the error after your API is calling. So you have to put the your error handling function, our middleware over here, app.use. Let me copy it to save the time. Okay. After the route, it is the route one, API calling route. Just after that, I am putting this middleware error handler, right? We are still getting error.
Yeah.
Middleware is path is wrong. I have create S.
See, the
Sorry.
middleware. That means it should be used in between, the response and request and response, right? So
Exactly.
it should not
Exactly.
be. It should not be before getting the route file,
No,
or
no.
after route. It should be
After
used.
route, because route, if you are not catching the route, means request, how can you, because you have to pass the request first, right? So to pass, to accept the request or get the request from the client side, you have to first it trigger the route file first, right? The URL, API URL. But if URL is not there, then how can I reach to that controller? After reaching,
Okay.
it will execute. Then I'm going to catch the error.
Okay. I got it. Now, app dot use whatever the upper line is. That is also the middleware, no? One type of
Yes. All are
use.
middleware. You can do
Okay. Yes.
app.use.
I got it.
This is what
Yes.
the first one, the body parser, mean all the requests should send the JSON.
Okay.
Body parser is
Okay. This is very tricky. It is very tricky because the error handler, it is related to the routes.
yes,
So that's why after calling the route middleware, then we will use the error handler middleware. Okay.
exactly. So now you can see
Okay. Thanks.
my server is running properly. It is working fine. Okay, but still now we are not getting the proper error handling. response, because I am not changing anything inside my controller file in which exactly I am going to uh, catch the error, right? Okay, I have already included that. So now you can see I have added the, what you can say, the error handler over there, right? So let's see what is happening right now. Let's get the ID with absurd URL. Then you can see it is 400 error, because it is, I am passing the 400 error within the cache. Get single URL, this one, it is throwing this error, right? So right now, if I am handling this error, then what I have to do, I have to pass this to the middleware. For example, let me do it for this only. I'm just commenting this. Next error. So what I'm doing over here, I am passing this error to the middleware using next function, right? So right now, whenever I'm hitting with the bad object ID, then what happen? It will come to the catch error, catch area over here. Then what it will do? It will go to the next middleware. So what is the which middleware? Right now it will trigger error middleware. So now let's check what happened. Look at it. Now you can get the error from the MongoDB and 500 internal server. The code, the status code is 500, because I have mentioned it in the error.js. Do you understand what I'm saying? 500 status code, and it is a server, internal server error, or internal server error will display only when it is not, the error message is not found in MongoDB. But right now I'm error.message, I can find it over here, so that I am getting this cast to object ID failed, because it is a cast error, and this error is from Mongoose itself. Okay, but this is a weird message, right? So nobody can understand what is this. So it is very difficult to understand, and this ID slash ID, all the stuff. So I want the customized error. So I want a maybe a utility function, or any method by which I can customize my error, customize message, I can do it, right? So you can see the error object over here. I will let you know later on. For now, let me create a utility function, right? So a utility function error response, which is inside the util method, util directory. So let me create one utility methods by extending. I am creating a class by extending an error message. So let me create one util is not also there. Utils. So inside utils, I can create, what I have created.
Sir, you have created a file instead of folder.
File.
Yes. Utils, then file is error response. Error response.js. Right? Let's put the error response. So what I'm doing over here, I'm creating a class by inheriting from error default error class, right? And I think it is very difficult to you understand those who are not aware about ES6, the new version of JavaScript, because this is what the inheritance in JavaScript. Okay, then here by default a construction method will be there inside the class, and super is used to inherit the parameters inside this error method, default parameters, right? So message is a default parameter in error object. Just like whenever you print error.message, you can get it from there. So that's why to inheriting the properties of default class, we have to use super method. And you can, I also define my custom methods over here, a custom property like status code, okay, which I am going to pass it from here whenever I am calling this error response in my controller, right?
CK, here I can explain what is the super actually. Uh, Actually, super is the constructor of the parent class. So
Exactly,
we are just going, yes, we are going to initialize that error parent class with passing the message. So
exactly.
we can get yes, we can get the message of the
Error,
from
error,
the
error,
parent class.
error.
And
Exactly.
super should be like it should be always the first line of the child constructor, because it's just like the Java, I think so.
Yes, yes,
Java
yes.
also will,
Exactly. The same
okay.
concept, object-oriented
Yes, yes.
concept. So whenever means in inside error class also there is a constructor method. So there is a default message we are passing inside the constructor. We have to inherit in our constructor or class. Then we have to use super method, right? And whenever constructor function is called, whenever you are create a instance or object, then it is automatically call these variables, this function, constructor function, and this super and all this dot status code, all the property will be executed at that time. You don't have to call externally, automatically you just create an instance using new keywords, it will be called. Okay, so now I have created it. Then inside controller I have to, of course, error response is a class, so I can call it this utility function inside controller. Let me import it over here at the top, just below the model. I'm importing it. Again, throw an error. Why? File name utils. Utils. Correct. Let's see. Error response. Okay. Response.js. Okay. Okay. So now it is correct. So I have already import the error response. Then how I'm using it over here, look at it. So let me replace one by one so that it's very easy to understand. So I'm using over here instead of get this is, here it is. So now you can see it is reduced. Right now it is reduced because the request response error I can, because it is also one error, right? And this is also one error. So I am customizing my error message using error response. So whatever message I want to send, I can send over here. Then whatever the status code I am sending over here. So it will be catched by our error response class and display it. So here in here in the catch section, I'm sending it to error section, means error.js, error middleware, right? I'm passing this error message over here directly using this error response, but I'm going to for this catch section, which I am getting error from database section, means Mongoose. So I have to define this one error response inside this error.js for the customized error, right? So right now let me see if it is working or not. So bootcamp is not found, ID and 404 will be message. So get bootcamp. So if I am calling it over here, then it is going to the database catch error, means Mongo's error, but I have to pass the proper data over here. But if data not found, at that time what happened? For example, I'm doing it 3, then I'm not getting any data found. I'm not, because this ID is not available. It is a proper ID, but the value of this ID or the record use of this ID is not available. Then bootcamp is not found with ID this. So you can see this message, bootcamp not found. Each I am sending over each, edit each over here, then you can see it. This is the same message. Okay. Okay, now it will come. Okay. So I can customize a message whatever I want. So here in database error message, so I cannot customize right now, because what it is displaying, it is displaying the default message from database like this word message. So how I can change it? I can change it over there as well. So before that, let me change it for other controller so that I don't forget. It is very simple. It will take a minute to change it. Create bootcamp. We can post it in create bootcamp. So you guys should practice it so that it will be easy for you. Now our data is getting cleaner. So in the future also we are going to remove this try catch from here, and we can use the async await middleware. This is for update. I can put it in case of update. Sorry. Okay. So in case of error, I am sending it from here. And also delete. In case of delete, I am replacing.
सर फंक्शन की लाइन 2 बार लिख दी आपने.
Okay. Correct. Now you can see our code gradually decrease the length. So you can see now server is running properly, database is connecting properly, and you can check whatever you want. It will work fine. So if you are creating any if you are getting any ID, try to get it, then you can, it is a customized error message, and you are going to update it. Maybe from here update it with, for example, 3, then it will not find, then it will throw an error, bootcamp ID of this is not found to update, which is a custom error message I am mentioning over here at the time of updating, right here, bootcamp ID, this is not an error. Okay, other things are similar. I'm just changing this with our require response parameter, which I'm going to manage through error response. Now I am passing another error from here over here, which will give you the database of, which will give you the error response from the MongoDB database. So how we can customize them? So you can customize that as well. Like in error response section, we can use something like this. Instantiate this new, then construct the class name and message and this. Okay, but here what we are going to do, Let me copy this. In error section, there are three different error message I'm showing over here in error section. So right now I am sending a default message, which is by default the error.message, which is coming from Mongoose, will display over there. But now what I am doing, according to error name, I am changing my message, and this message is also passing through my error response class or utility method, utility object. So this error handling middleware, it is a middleware. So whenever you pass the error from there in controller and it lands over here in error middleware, then I'm handling the error in different way. For example, cast error name, for example. Okay, it's a bad object ID. I'm displaying it bad object ID. So let me show you. So whenever I'm, sorry, an error will occur, might be because I'm not including that file over here. Which one? Error response. Let me copy it. So I'm a bit lazy actually. So instead of writing it, always I prefer to copy it, right? Now it should work. Yes, now server is running and MongoDB is connected. Let's go over here and try to update it. Okay, it is from error from controller, but if I am passing this thing or SSSS, then it will go to the Mongo's error section, the bad object ID, right? Because I am passing this is a cast error, right? So bad object ID. If I'm changing each sending, you can say it will be updated over here. Okay, right? So now this error, the MongoDB error is handled through error.js. So I am managing over there. If it is a cast error, then it will this. So let me show you one thing. I am consoling the error object over here. Let me do it error.name and the console.
CK, I have a question over here.
Yeah, I can say this
Actually,
error name is cast error. Yes.
because all these things are happening from inside the try block, right? So
Yes.
if that, because right now we are using only the Mongo object inside the try, we are not using any other things right now. So later on there may be the lot of third party things or classes or the things we can use from where we can have the runtime error issues, right? Right now we have the Mongos. So you are specifying in the error.js everything is related to the
Mongo.
Mongo's error,
Yeah.
Mongo's error, and you are using that type of the cast error and 11100 this ID you are coming. But when we will use the different library and there will be the some errors, so again I have to find out all these error from that parties and then we have to
For
specify
that,
over here again.
of course, just like here.
Okay.
So I am dealing with some error which is not data not found. So it is not a MongoDB error. It is a data related error or any other error. So you can deal in this way inside controller. But this one is only for the database error. I'm already explaining you that the cache section will dealing with whenever you are dealing with this section, these things, then you are getting error in the try case. You are getting error of only these things. This bootcamp and find ID. It is a database query, right? So after, but whenever you are dealing with other things, then you have to write it over here, and inside the means it might be multiple try and case error, try and case section. Inside,
That's I'm telling.
exactly,
Because right now we have the connection of the Mongo here, so there may
exactly.
be the problem, the connection problem with the Mongo, and that will go to the cache block. But there should be the another things also, na, in the same try
Of course,
block. Suppose there is a
Like,
just in case we are going to connect with the SMTP connection,
exactly.
right?
So for
In this,
that we have to write something like this. Another try and case
okay, so
inside.
okay. So you okay. So every possibilities we should keep inside the try catch
Yes,
different.
yes. So we can create a middleware for that. The try case error. We can use promise over there so that we can dealing with
Okay,
it easily. So whatever you want to, we
okay,
can just pass through that middleware so that I can the try case. You don't have to write it every time. It will work automatically. I'll do it after some time. Okay.
okay, okay. No, no
So
problem. Okay,
important thing is that some most of the time developers are not writing the code in the same way. Try case is not there. That's why what happened, your API stop working in the middle of something most of the time. Either it is not neither sending an error, neither it do something. It will most of the time it get hanged. We didn't get any response. So that is the main reason I am explaining you. Okay, so that is what I'm going to explain right now. The middleware for the async, or maybe we can say async.js to remove the duplicates. Dry principles means do not repeat yourself. So you can see always I'm writing try and case, try and case, try and case, but I'm not going to do it all the time. Okay, so let's do one thing. I'm creating it and middleware, another middleware, which is called async handler, asynchronous call handler, right? So inside middleware, I'm going inside middleware, new file. Sorry. Okay, so you can see I'm just commenting the above code because it is very good one. If you understand, then that is good. So do you know what is this? This is the simply a function is passing to the parameter of to the another function. So let's understand this, otherwise you don't understand. So have you ever dealing with means passing parameter a function to the parameter to the passing function to as a callback function to the another function and using arrow functions? Have you ever do that? Anybody? So in this way we can pass it because it is one function where this is one parameter and this is the body of the another function where I can pass it over here, the parameter. Again, another arrow function I can, which is the representation of like this function. I am passing the fn function over here. Then I am returning another function which contains requirements parameter and some code. So it is one call function, anonymous function, inside it is another function. So it is like a closure, right? So using arrow function, it is very easy to do it. So I am using this one, which is in documentation also. You can find it in Express documentation, the same code, right? So let's do it tomorrow
Can
because
we
we
can we
don't
call
have
it
much
a
time.
higher order?
Sorry,
Can we call it a higher order function?
higher order function, yes, we can.
So like we create a function which takes an argument as a function and it returns a function, right?
Exactly, exactly. So the higher function is taking the child function, another function as a parameter. Okay, so let's see it tomorrow. Right now it is not much time. So tomorrow we'll see how we can minimize the try and remove the try and catch from the controller and use this asynchronous handler.